Highlands and Islands is one of the best places, not just in Scotland, but one of the best places in Europe to take forward the whole, particularly offshore renewable energies in wave, in tidal and wind energy. And it's got huge opportunities for the region, a new opportunity for a new generation, if you like, growing up. And these are not just opportunities or benefits that are way down the line, they're happening today. It's not an aspiration that sometime, somewhere in the future it might happen, it's started already.
The Scottish Government has done a huge amount to try and put in place the infrastructure that the marine energy industry requires. In particular, the National Renewables Infrastructure Plan has looked at what are the ports and infrastructure that Scotland requires if it's to fully capitalise on its position as a global leader in offshore renewable technologies.
I believe the infrastructure here is extremely good. Road, rail and air links are very good, and I believe that there's plenty of capacity to increase the number of workforce that come and work in this area and live in this area. We're ready now to take on the challenge that the renewables construction, operations and service industry could bring to this area.
Ports are being upgraded at the moment. There are people making investments in vessels. We've got the high voltage switching capacity. Everything you need to make this work is actually here.
Well, Beauly Denny is effectively will be the sort of central artery down through Scotland. The reason for this investment programme is to facilitate the transportation of all this renewable energy coming from wind, coming from wave and tidal, coming from offshore wind, down to the central belt in south.
We've got steel manufacturing, we've got dry docks, there's ports and infrastructure that's suitable for accommodating the vessels and the marine activities that are going to be required. There's skills such as underwater diving centre in Fort William that's got one of the finest diving centres and training schools in the world. I think that those are the kind of infrastructure and skills to support what we're doing potentially for the renewable energy sector.
It's a great opportunity for Scotland, and it's a great opportunity for the Highlands and Islands to have an active participation in the emergence of this sector.
We'll see over the next few years even more investment in infrastructure, and I just foresee an increased ramping up of the whole sector.
The supply chain is absolutely critical, and frankly without a supply chain we wouldn't be able to work at all. And we're seeing a number of companies get involved in the supply chain. We're seeing companies from the oil and gas sector start to come up, bring their machines and find out how to make them work for our new industry. But we're also seeing a lot of local companies really take big steps and make the investments necessary to get this industry to happen.
In the Highlands and Islands there are many good young up-and-coming engineering companies and established companies as well. So I think that going forward we'll develop a combination of working with the local supply chain, but also in a collaborative sense we'll be dealing with international companies in the rest of the UK, Europe and even further afield.
Energy North is a trade association for energy companies in the north of Scotland. We are a great way for suppliers to find out what the market requires and then to link up with that market. It helps the supply chain understand what the customer is needing and hopefully puts the supply chain in front of the customer to make the sale.
In order that we get local businesses more engaged with what we do and they can understand much more about what we do, and therefore it's right that if they have the appropriate skills or they can develop the skills that they can help us with delivering these transmission ambitions.
Most of the developers are there to build the projects and then to own and operate them in the long term. But a buoyant and competitive supply chain is really, really crucial for us all.
skills of any company is the lifeblood of success, and we've got a very capable workforce. There's been apprentice schemes running since the 50s. They're still running in engineering and so forth. Lots of companies continue to employ apprentices and train them up.
The Nick Skills Academy is a wonderful facility, and we have former postmen, call centre workers, painter and decorators, brickies, all coming in there to retrain and get themselves into the energy industry. We want to encourage that and promote it because we will need it in going forward.
One of the differences at the Nick Skills Academy is that as soon as a student comes on site, they are immediately an employee, and that there are real jobs at the end of their course.
I'm going to be a fabricator, so we're obviously learning all the marking out, the cutting, how to assemble things ready just for the welders to come along and weld.
Well, we're in the workshop making our pieces, learning the fabricating and the welding and the pipe fitting.
When you come in, you've been given a company basically, you've been put with a company, so you know you've got a job afterwards, you've got a contract, so you know definitely for the first 2 years you're normally with a company straight away.
You have to work hard at it, but anyone who's willing to do that, it's a great route to go down.
You can't develop this sort of industry without skills, and that's one of the major assets which we have, a skills base from oil and gas, but new skills coming into the industry, and it's really exciting to see new initiatives taking place.
The Underwater Centre helps support the growth of companies in the offshore oil and gas and offshore renewable sectors by supplying them skilled and competent staff. In particular, we train commercial divers and remotely operated vehicle pilots. As the industries grow, staff is sometimes one of the biggest issues, and we're trying to make sure that there is enough of the suitably qualified and competent people available.
And here in Thurso at North Island College, we've recently opened 2 major new facilities. First of all, the Engineering, Technology and Energy Centre. And secondly, the building that we're standing in front of, the Centre for Energy and the Environment. And the combination of these facilities provides us with a platform to deliver the research, the education and training that will support the development of the renewable energy sector here in the north of Scotland. There's a huge pool of talent here in the Highlands. We have found it even in our own small company. A message to somebody who wants to get involved quickly, because this is happening, and if you don't get involved, you're going to be left out.
I think it's a fantastic opportunity. With a buoyant oil and gas business and a buoyant renewables industry, it's a fantastic message for the whole of the northeast of Scotland and Scotland as a whole.
Research and development is our bread and butter. We're really involved in this sector because the machines that are being brought along to EMEC are research machines. They're often the first of type anywhere in the world that are being put in the seas here. So we see research and development right on the cutting edge.
EDPR is already thinking about how to deploy turbines in even deeper water. And we have high hopes in the future that this technology can be adapted and deployed at scale. And we're investigating this potentially within Scottish waters in the next few years.
Research and development is absolutely at the core of what we do. With respect to the Highlands and Islands, we've developed a relationship with the University of the Highlands and Islands, and we're a lead industry partner in a project being led by Lewis Castle College on the Western Isles. And one of the principal goals there is to find out more about the wave energy resource on the periphery of Scotland.
It's an opportunity for the UK as a whole, and Scotland in particular, that if we develop the next phase of offshore wind farms well, and we've shown that we can deploy them at reasonable cost, then the market is much bigger than just the north of Scotland. It's much bigger than Scotland or even the UK. The market is then European-wide and worldwide.
Any business working in Highlands and Islands is very important to work with the communities and you know, out with creating jobs in the communities. It's about keeping communities up to speed and informed and reliably informed of what proposals and what developments can take place and what the opportunities are there for those communities.
There's going to be a major impact coming through in terms of renewables projects, and over time people can see the benefits where we are a much more self-sustainable area. We have invested in a car here ourselves, which is a fully electric car which is working from a wind turbine, and we're setting that up as an example of what could happen in the community here in the future.
Once you've got the community behind you, you can move so much forward much quicker. So it is a vital component, and we all have to work hard at making sure that that happens in the right manner.
We've got the ports, the infrastructure, the business environment which is supportive of all of that. We're investing in the skills that we know local businesses and inward investors will be looking for to grow their businesses. That's already there. A research base that can work with developers here, with the whole industry, to take forward ideas. We have the enterprise area status, which is an additional incentive to come and locate here. So a whole range of benefits, of opportunities, of reasons to come and invest in Highlands Island. And it's also quite a nice place to live as well.